Before Christ, I would say my life was hopeless, tragic, and moreover, difficult. When I was 17, I moved out of my mother's house. I moved to Brockport, where I attended SUNY Brockport. During my first year, it was super difficult. Not only being away from family, but also I was introduced to alcohol specifically, which over the course of the next several years following, I grew to be reliant on it. This, of course, negatively impacted my GPA, and it led to me getting a notice of academic dismissal. This, coupled with a breakup I was going through at the time, led me to move home. And while I was commuting from Perry, where my mother lived, to SUNY Brockport, I got in a car accident one morning at 4 a.m. The fire chief told me if I had gone a foot to the left, I would have hit a reinforced utility pole. And if I had gone a foot to the right, I would have hit a gas tank, which ultimately either would have taken my life. Despite this miracle, I still didn't believe. At the lowest point of my life, I would say, happened in March of 2024. I've been coming to Northridge now for about 3 months, and I was getting the experience of seeing firsthand the power of the faith. That night I mentioned in the middle of March, I had broken up with my girlfriend of 5 years. And it came to a point where I knew I had to pick between my faith and her. I picked the faith. I picked following Christ. A couple days after that, I was a complete mess. I was at the lowest point I think I've ever been at in my life. I was genuinely considering suicide. I sat in my apartment and I felt nothing but sheer sadness, nothing but anger and frustration at the situation I was in. While I was in the midst of these negative emotions, I felt a peace. And it was that moment I knew that my anger, my frustration was misguided. And that inevitably I made the right call, that I have to choose Christ not only in this moment, but in every moment. Since accepting Christ, I've been able to see the joy, see the beauty in minute and minuscule things. I no longer feel that tug for alcohol. I never feel that same hopelessness that I felt before. I want to get baptized today because not only is it, of course, mandated by Scripture, but also, I suppose, to be that example. Christ has allowed me to grow as a person. Christ has allowed me to love as one should love. Christ has allowed me to forgive as He is forgiven. It's time for me to be that same example I looked for when I was growing up, that same example of Christ's love and His compassion for us and God's mercy and His grace. So I want to publicly declare my love for Christ.
Man, what an honor to be with you here today. Daniel's one of the most conscientious and thoughtful and considerate people. He's always deciding, and there's just this war of decisions, and he's so good at thinking things through and considering other people's opinions and feeling. It's so genuine, so authentic, so relatable. He always does this thing, we vibin'. Anybody seen David? We vibin'. And what it kind of symbolizes to me is like this trust in God where it's like, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. You know, like I know it's tough like this, but we're hanging on. You know, we're anchored to Christ in this. And there's this hope that's deeper than my circumstances and the happiness that that I want to feel. And I love that Daniel's just, we're vibing. We're always vibing. We're vibing. And so thank you, brother, for being an inspiration. The way you lead other people to Christ, you're like walking towards Christ and leading other people with you to Christ. And it's just inspirational to see your story 1 year ago to today. Just, man, has me in tears. It's emotional. I just love you, dude. I'm so thankful for you, for your inspiration to me, for your influence in my life, for being in my group, for loving us, for caring on the guys, for always taking care of Paige and I. The way you care about us is just intense. It's amazing. And we couldn't do without you, so we love you so much. We're very grateful for you, and we're thankful for your obedience to Christ, too, for putting an example out there to say, look, Jesus is my leader, and I'm following. You can come with me. I'm following. We're going one step at a time, and we're vibing. We're vibing, family. But we love you, brother. My pleasure to baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Love you, dude.